This is Dagath. She is one of the newest additions to Warframe, prior to Corvex, and honestly, she is quite busted. She is probably one of the best and single strongest frames to enter the game in recent years. Released just before Halloween of 2023, she swept onto the stage in full glory with a complete kit, consisting of abilities like Word Scythes, which viral primes and slow enemies. This ability will also spread and refresh the timer of Doom, her second ability, a status boasting damage redirection, which works via storing damage over time and releasing it in bursts, making this arguably her single strongest ability, next to Grave Spirit. Grave Spirit, which allows her to become an Immortal Healthtank, while boosting her weapon's critical damage to insanely high levels, increases your base critical damage of all weapons, and includes a higher critical damage bonus against enemies afflicted with Doom. This ability works best with weapons that natively have high critical chance and critical damage. This ability, while active, will protect you from lethal damage and send you into a spectral form on complete reduction of HP, during which time you are invulnerable, and all kills will drop guaranteed health orbs, allowing you to come back at full power. Once you have been saved from lethal damage via this ability, it will go on a cooldown of 25 seconds, during which time it cannot be reactivated. Generally, you want to try and avoid taking massive damage during this period, and once the ability is available again, you want to reactivate it to get your critical damage buff, as well as your main buff for survivability. Modding her for ability duration will increase the period of invulnerability during her spectral form phase after her pseudo-death. Finally, we have her fourth and final ability, Rakali's Cavalry, which summons 5 spectral horses, which charge the opposition in a V-like formation, dealing massive damage against both enemies afflicted with the viral status from Word Scythes as well as Doom. Against doomed enemies, this ability will also strip enemy defenses, be they shields or armor, based on your percent of ability strength. As you can see from this synopsis of her kit, all of her abilities synergize quite well for her. Now that we have discussed and explained her ability kit, now let's dive into how to play and utilize her abilities. Generally, you want to start the mission off by dropping an energy pad to gain some starting energy, and then casting her third ability, Grave Spirit. This ability should stay up at all times, and especially should be recast once she takes lethal damage and assumes her spectral form after the cooldown is worn off. Next, you will essentially traverse the map looking for groups of enemies to inflict doom upon, and then casting Word Scythes immediately after to not only prime enemies with 10 stacks of viral, but to also spread the doom status to enemies further away who may not have been hit by the initial cone of doom. These will likely be your 2 biggest rotations of abilities while playing her. Her fourth ability, Rakali's Cavalry, is quite expensive energy-wise, so be sure to save that either for large groups of enemies you have afflicted with Doom and Word Scythes, or for especially tanky enemies like Acolytes and Eximus units. In one of my builds, due to utilizing the Unairu Focus School, I have subsumed off this ability in place of Zada's Whisper, which works incredibly well synergistically with my Guy's primary kit gun, and the crit damage multiplier on it due to my Riven. As you will see, this combination absolutely shreds and demolishes enemies all the way into the 1 hour mark of the Conjunction Lua Survival against nearly level 300 enemies. To start off her build, in the Aura slot, we will be running Steel Charge, simply for the extra melee damage on Acolytes, as well as the additional mod capacity. However, in fairness, you can run whatever you like in this slot, which fits your needs or general playstyle. Next, for the Exilus slot, personally, I will be running Rush for additional mobility and speed to help better avoid enemies, and to maneuver around much more quickly. However, feel free to run Power Drift or anything else you may like. From here, the build tends to get a bit stricter on which mods to use or not. You will want to form a slots for Blind Rage, Adaptation, Primed Flow, Hunter's Adrenaline, and Equilibrium. In the context of formas, I have also used one for the Aura and Exilus slots, to avoid needing an Umbra forma for the Umbral mod set. These 3 mods work best when combined with the entire set, especially for Dagath, so that we are utilizing the maximum percentage of health due to her being a health tank, ability strength, and armor, which is particularly useful to help reduce the amount of incoming damage she takes directly to her health before the reduction from adaptation is factored in. As for Warframe arcanes, I am running Molt Reconstruct for self-healing due to how often you will be spamming your first and second abilities, which helps to replenish your health to counter the incoming damage, as well as Arcane Blessing to give her even more health on top of her already insane health pool. This arcane at max rank will give you an additional 1200 max health at 50 stacks, while Molt Reconstruct at max rank will heal you and your entire squad, which are within affinity range, at 6 health points for every 1 energy point spent on abilities. As you can see, I am also running both red and blue Archon shards for additional ability strength as well as armor to help increase or incoming damage reduction, even further improving her survivability. We will, however, not be modding for shields, as her base shields is already so low that to do so is just a waste of a mod slot, which could benefit from one of the other mods we have in this kit.
You on the blow point. You on the blow point. You on the blow point. You on the trap now. You on the trap now.